Thanks, Matt. Former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright said there's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. I've taken this to heart. And so I've had tremendous mentors and coaches and sponsors throughout my career, and I've been incredibly blessed with the opportunities that they've opened for me. And one of the things that these women have reminded me of over the years is the importance of my worth, the importance of my value, and monetarily what that means and how to get it. And that's one of the things that I'm really passionate about and want to talk to you about a little bit today. So there's so many things in common between what employees say they want from their leaders and the natural skills and strengths and abilities of women. And if you kind of line them up characteristic by characteristic, it's remarkable how similar they are. So employees say that they want leaders who listen with empathy, are attuned to the needs of others, help solve problems, educates, coaches, and mentors and guides, looks for common ground and collaborates within the team. It creates win-win situations. And really, one by one, if you kind of line up the research, those are the natural strengths and abilities of women. And there's this great book that I read that called Women Make the Best Salesmen. And it encourages women to really apply the natural strengths that they already have, like negotiation, communication, intuition, and attentiveness to sales environments. And this is particularly interesting because sales as a functional area is a predominantly male-dominated function, right? So we already know this, right? And we already know the research that says that companies with the greatest percentage of women in their leadership team have better financial results. And companies with the greatest percentage of women in their boardrooms have a smoother revenue stream and are not prone to dramatic dips when things get tough, right? So we already know this. There's a great deal of evidence that says that women are incredibly valuable in the corporate environment. And there's several leaders that have come out and said that this is something that we need to focus on as a society, right? So we've recently had this really interesting wave that's going on. So Intel CEO Brian Krzanich, he pledged all right, we got some fans here, that's awesome. So $300 million in support of STEM. Everyone knows STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Pledged $300 million to develop women and girls in STEM careers to be able to flourish in his corporation, right? And he's had this really nice quote saying, "I want my daughters to have a world that is equal opportunity for them." So that's pretty substantial. We also remember Patricia Arquette from the Oscars when she won Best Supporting Oscar. And she really tried to give a wake-up call, and I think she did. She certainly woke me up. She said, "It's our time to have wage equality once and for all and equal rights for women in the United States of America." And that generated a lot of controversy and thought and just sort of refocusing on the topic. And it certainly woke me up, too. So I took that and gave it some thought and wrote an article in USA Today that was published in early March. And I was basically challenging Silicon Valley companies to publish their gender pay metrics and be transparent about that. Right? Silicon Valley is the place of innovation, right? Everything that's cool in the world starts here, right? You know, we lead the world in thinking about new things and breaking down barriers. We really should do this for gender pay transparency also. Corporations already do it. They have to report the number of women, they have to report women or men, they have to report their ethnicity breakdowns, they have to report how many women versus men at each level of the organization. Why not publish pay transparency? Why not make that known as well? We know that women are paid 81 cents to the dollar for a man in tech, which is better than 78 cents to the dollar for what a man earns overall. But wouldn't you like to know how your company pays women and men? What is the difference between my company, your company, your company, your company? That would help us make better decisions. So that was my challenge to tech. and received about 350 emails and notices from people all around the world with some variation of "you go girl." And I'm pretty sure that the Pope read my article also in USA Today, because he's a cool dude, and he said, why is it expected that women must earn less than men? The disparity is pure scandal. Even the Pope is calling for this. So this is a pretty important thing. So it really sort of begs the question, well, why is this happening? Really, it's kind of just this huge mystery. Women have all these amazing strengths in leadership. And this amazing alignment between natural skills and abilities and what are naturally needed in corporations. And everyone is raising their voices around calling for gender equality in pay. And why is this still a problem? Why are we not achieving this status? So to be clear, this is a very complex issue. There are stereotypes and unconscious bias and all sorts of things going on, and I just want to focus on one aspect that I think that I can shed some light on, and hopefully we can take away and be really actionable about that. And that is that women have less career confidence in the workplace. So there's this really interesting study that was released in 2011 by the Institute of Leadership and Management, and it revealed that women report having lower confidence in regard to their careers. Men are more confident across all age groups. 70% of males have high or very high levels of self-confidence compared to 50% of women. Half of women managers admitted to feelings of self-doubt, and only 31% of male managers have feelings of self-doubt. And this one is my favorite. 20% of men say, I have no qualifications whatsoever for that job. I think it's a good idea that I go apply for it. Right? And that's twice, really, what women are thinking. So I think that's interesting. So there's some fundamental self-confidence issues. And this lack of confidence especially hurts us when 93% of women are not negotiating for better pay, right? Only 7% of women negotiate for a better pay package when they're offered a job. So the biggest factor that leads to pay gap is us, right? I don't want to be Sheryl Sandberg and say, you guys got to lean in. I'm just saying we can do more. Right? We can really push this and raise our voices against this. So I want to share two very easy things that we can do to boost confidence and close this pay gap. The first is around promoting other women. There's this great research report from a researcher at Yale, and he was a professor that taught this huge lecture hall, the kind with like 300 students in it. And then there are the sections that are taught by graduate students, with 10 or 20 or something like that. And so this professor would go into the section and say, okay, undergrads, this is Karen. She's going to be your section leader. Have a nice semester. And the student evaluations at the end of the semester were pretty poor. He's like, why is that? Karen's amazing. I don't understand. Maybe I'm setting her up wrong. So then he said, for the next section, okay, this is Karen. Best graduate student I've ever had. Her dissertation is going to change the industry. This will be the best, use of your time you've ever had in your 4 undergraduate years. Don't miss a day. Come early. This, you're going to want a letter of recommendation from this. Her work is going to be more influential in the industry than mine. Blah blah blah. All this great stuff. All true, but he transferred his credibility to his grad student. She'd had the same performance. And then the evaluations were incredibly higher, right? And then they took this study and replicated it in the corporate environment and said, when we introduce each other, that person is then has greater acceptance into that new group. So a super easy takeaway is go out of your way to introduce other women, right? If everybody in the meeting room knows you and they don't know somebody that's new, say, this is my colleague Karen. She's amazing, best project manager ever, blah, 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 blah. Transfer your credibility to her, and that will help with her acceptance. And that will help with confidence, okay? So super easy thing to do. Another really easy thing to do is to have greater understanding of your body chemistry. So another researcher, Amy Cuddy from Harvard, she noticed in her graduate classes that the men would sort of, sit up really tall and they'd ask lots of questions and be really engaging and things like that. And the women tended to sit, in a much more slumped, kind of closed-in manner. And she saw this body, language, and I wonder what's going on here. So she brought in a group of graduate students. Everybody spit in a cup, a little Dixie cup. You test the hormones. 2 hormones, cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and testosterone, which is your power hormone. And then she had everybody, so she got a baseline, and then she had people test their hormones and then hold their bodies different. In different situations. So if you hold can I get everybody to stand up with me? And I'd like you to take what's called a power pose, which is also called a Wonder Woman pose. So stand with your hands on your hips, put your sternum out, is that your sternum? And put your hands on your hips with your legs apart. And if you do this for 2 minutes, you are literally changing your body chemistry. So if you're scared, you're freaked out, oh my God, this is a huge meeting, I don't know if I can do this, stand like this for 2 minutes, and it literally changes your hormone level. Your cortisol increases, and your testosterone, your testosterone increases, your cortisol decreases, stress goes down, confidence goes up. So you can actually fake it till you make it, right? Okay? You can also sit big in a chair. You don't have to just walk around meetings like this. You can sit big in a chair. Okay, you can sit down now because your hormones are all balanced. So you can sit big in a chair versus slumping down in a chair, right? So just be very conscious. Look at her TED Talk. Look up Amy Cuddy. So understand your body chemistry and how that connects to your confidence level. So just a couple things I want to leave you with. Understand your natural strengths and abilities and play to those, okay? Raise your voice. Let people know where you're coming from, what's important to you. Negotiate. Make sure that people are aware of your perspectives. Be very confident in that, and there are things that you can do to enhance your confidence level. Certainly, introducing your peers and doing a credibility transfer and making sure that people introduce you, all right? If you're gonna go someplace new, these are I don't know anybody, be sure and you say these things, it'll help me as I get integrated in this new group, right? So make sure people introduce you and manage your body energy through how you are standing and holding your posture. Okay, so just a couple things to think about. Thanks so much.